James Turner for the untouchable true school sports. Let's go, baby. Bow!
Be careful what you wish for because it can become a reality.
Yeah. The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. All right, so it's been a little bit of time since I talked about one of my favorite fighters in boxing. You guys know that for good, bad, or indifferent, I'm the president of the American Filip Hrgovic fan club. But Filip Hrgovic, let's talk about him. He's got a fight coming up August 16th, a couple weeks from now at the time he's shooting this. He's taking on David Adeleye, which really and truthfully, if I'm being honest, on paper, you know, David Adeleye is not one of the top 3 opponents Filip Hrgovic has ever fought, to be honest with you. He's not. He's not like as bad as some guys Hrgovic has fought, but he's not quite as good as like, you know, the guys like Zhang or Dubois or Joyce. You know, he's fought better guys than David Adeleye. But, you know, with Filip Hrgovic, let's be objective here. And he's like, again, I love Hrgovic. I know him, it's my guy, I love him. But Filip Hrgovic is a guy that he's shown it in his fights that, you know, his punching power, he's got solid punching power, but he's not like, he's not punching like, you know, Dubois or Wilder or like, you know, I don't think he's one of the top 5 or even 10 hardest punching fighter in the heavyweight division. He's got respectable pop. He's got good pop. But believe it or not, what's been winning Hrgovic a lot of these fights has been his boxing skills. So this fight's tricky to me because everything says that Hrgovic is a better fighter than Adelaide. Like amateur pedigree, who he's fought in the pros, all that stuff. But why I think Adelaide has an advantage over Hrgovic is in the punching power department. I think he's a better. I think at this stage he punches harder than Hrgovic, even though, if I'm being honest, he hasn't really fought. Like the only guy he fought that was at world level was Fabio Wardley, and he got knocked out in that fight. You know, so you know maybe he's just a can crusher. Maybe he's not really punching like that at the world level, but I think there's a possibility he might be the bigger puncher of the two. And I think it's very important that Hrgovic don't give Adelaide chances to land big shots. And he can't be lethargic in this fight. And truth be told, like, I'm hoping this is finally the fight where he comes out here and just puts on a show, a real performance. Because, you know, I feel like all these times where I come out here and I talk, you know, he fights these guys, and it's just been lethargic performance after lethargic performance. I don't know. I don't know why. I have my theories. We'll see. It'll be a second fight with Abel Sanchez. The first fight with Abel Sanchez when he fought Joe Joyce, you know, he still did show a lot of those lethargic ways, and he kind of had to grind it out in the last part of the fight to win. So to me, he needs to make a statement. I don't care if he's fighting Adelaide. He needs to come make a statement to the world that, hey, he's one of the top heavyweights in the division. And not just by reputation, not just by amateur pedigree, but by performance. And this is a fight where he should do it because he's a better fighter all the way around the board than David Adeleye. Now, for David Adeleye, this is a guy in Adelaide who, you know, this is a chance for him to really put himself on the world level. You know, the fighting pride of Ladbroke Grove. He's gonna have a chance to knock off Hrgovic, who, by the way, like Hrgovic is a damn good heavyweight. Like, you look at his resume, you know, I know a lot of people will say, like, well, he got to get against Zhang. I don't think he got to get against Zhang. Even if you thought Zhang beat him, he went the full 12 rounds and showed a lot of heart in that fight. Because look at what Zhang went on to do after Hrgovic. He started knocking out Joyce, knocking out Wilder. He even dropped Joseph Parker. So it's a great win to have on your resume. Beat him. Beat Dempsey McKean, who was a contender at the time. And then he lost to Dubois, but, you know, he was winning that fight in a lot of people's eyes. And he didn't get stopped. Like, he didn't get knocked out. He got stopped on his feet. And then he beat Joe Joyce, who on short notice, who, you know, again, not the best Joe Joyce, but still, it's Joe Joyce. He's a harder guy to deal with. So he's still a good heavyweight. And for Adelaide, there's no doubt about it. If he goes out here and he upsets Hrgovic, it's 1,000% without a shadow of a doubt the best win of his entire boxing career. There's nobody in the entire division apart from Wardley that's anywhere close to Hrgovic. So it's a big opportunity in his career. Now, look, Hrgovic is the favorite. I'm not sure what he is in terms of odds, but I'm going to go check actually what he is in terms of odds. But if he does the business against David Adeleye. I'll tell you guys the 2 fights that I think Hrgovic will possibly get. So Hrgovic right now, as it stands, he is a -850. Adelaide is a +520. So David Adeleye is basically a 5-1 underdog. So that tells you right there what the odds makers think. If Hrgovic, as the favorite, goes ahead and handles business against Adelaide, I'm looking at 2 fights and 2 fights only for Hrgovic. Now, obviously, he needs to win this fight because if he wins this fight, I think it's very possible he can get a Daniel Dubois rematch. You know, the only guy to beat Hrgovic thus far is Daniel Dubois. There were a lot of things that I think went against Hrgovic that fight, both inside the ring and even outside the ring. I would hope that in the rematch things would be different, but we don't know. And if he beats Adelaide, that'll be 2 wins in a row. Dubois is coming off of a great run, but he just lost to Usyk. He got knocked out. Usyk hit him with an overhand left and knocked his mouthpiece into the 10th row. So that being said, he's got a lot to prove, and it could be a good rivalry fight. I like that fight, but apart from that fight, I don't know, man. I'm looking at these rankings right now, and it's possible that Hrgovic's highest ranking is number 2 in the WBO. Now, it is worth noting that Turki Al-Sheikh pretty much said that he's not interested in the Joseph Parker fight for Usyk. He wants Moses Itama to fight Usyk. And I'll tell you this, if he follows through with that, that'll free up Joseph Parker, and Filip Hrgovic could get a chance to fight Joseph Parker. He needed a chance to fight Joseph Parker, and they could do the amateur rematch. And I'll tell you this, if Hrgovic can beat David Adeleye and then beat Joseph Parker, all of a sudden you're talking about him now being like a solidified top contender and a guy that would deserve a world title shot. A world title shot he hasn't gotten yet that he blew. He would have beat Dubois. He would have fought Joshua. He would have got a world title shot, or he would have been champion actually, because that was for like the title, and then Dubois got elevated. So that being said, Hrgovic is really, like, even though it don't feel like it, he's right there. He's still right there as a guy that could emerge in the heavyweight division and still fulfill being what I thought he could always be, which is a world champion. And then there's always the possibility that he doesn't fight Parker, and let's say maybe they line him up with Moses Itama. He might get lined up with Moses Itama, because if you're looking at it from a matchmaking standpoint, if Hrgovic beats David Adeleye, right? They might not want to step Itama all the way up to the highest level, not just in the heavyweight division, but in all of boxing against Usyk. So the natural next step for Itama is he beat Dempsey McKean, right? French contender. You fight Hrgovic. Hrgovic is now a top contender. Hrgovic is on that tier. Like, Usyk's on a tier by himself, right? And then I think Hrgovic is on that tier right now. He's on that tier with Parker, Zhang, Joshua. That's like its own tier. He's on that tier. That's the tier. That's the best tier you can be on before you get to Usyk. So I think he's going to be looked at because of how he's performed as a guy that could be beaten by Itama, and then they'll use that as a stepping stone possibly to Usyk. But listen, Hrgovic ain't no stepping stone, and Moses Itama ain't really went no rounds yet. So I think if they do that fight, I still think Hrgovic can beat Moses Itama, but he's gonna have to be better, and he's gonna have to really tighten some things up. But it starts right here with this fight with David Adeleye. He don't win this fight, nothing matters. And I'll tell you this, it may be it for him if he loses this fight. So that being said, I wish him the best. I wish David Adeleye the best. I hope it's a good fight. And yeah, it'll be Hrgovic in there with a young, strong puncher with a chance to put the world on notice as to who he is again. And for Adelaide, it's a chance for him to put himself on the notice. Adelaide is a guy that has been in a lot of training camps with guys like Tyson Fury, guys like Lawrence Okoli, and these kind of guys. Was he in camp with Okoli? Yeah, he's been in camp with all types of top guys, but now it's time for him to show that he could be one of the better heavyweights out there, and for him it starts with this fight here. So, yeah, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about Filip Hrgovic and all things I said, and David Adeleye? Leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe, and like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this, make sure you guys stay tuned and subscribe. You won't be disappointed.